Hi foodie friends, my name is Sue and I have nearly 40 years experience in the Carnival concession business. Today I'm going to talk to you about how to design your menu. I'm going to give you 5 things that you need to keep in mind when you're coming up with the product or products you're going to be selling in your concession booth. Okay, the first one to keep in mind is it unique? You need to have a food that's different from all the other foods in the fairground or you will not be able to get booked. All the good foods have been taken, or have they? We're going to help you come up with some ideas that maybe that's not the case. But the concession business is generational. The people who are selling cotton candy and fried dough and French fries have been doing it for years. In fact, their parents were probably doing it, and even their grandparents, and that's how they got their great spots on the fairground. And they're the only ones who are selling that particular product. The reason they stay in the business is they know it, they like it, or they love it. What's the main reason? They make a ton of cash in a very short time, and then they can enjoy themselves the rest of the year. They can go somewhere where it's warm, like Florida. They can work, or they can just enjoy the winter without work because they have made a ton of money. I can't emphasize that enough. I was a school teacher, and I played 18 spots in the summer and fall with the help of my husband, and I made more money in the concession business in those 18 weeks than I did as a school teacher. I don't say that to impress you, but to impress upon you what a great business this is. But you need a unique product, and the products that are out there, I have another video on choosing a product. I also am going to have a link down below to 20 ideas for great products that have a high profit margin and that you probably will be able to book because they are unique. So remember, your product has to be unique. The second thing we want to talk about is it easy to prepare? So we said unique. We want something that is easy to prepare. You're not in a food truck where people are willing to wait 20 minutes to get their food. People don't like to wait. One of my things that I have sold over the years is blooming onions. That was a great product. That's a whole nother story how I got into that business. But blooming onions take time. They take about 3 or 4 or 5 minutes to cook. Well, 3 minutes if you're not too busy and your oil is hot. But of course, the time when you want to get them out the door the fastest, the oil cools down a little if you're cooking half a dozen at a time and people are out there waiting and you're feeling uncomfortable. But then the good thing about a blooming onion is you can fit 6 or 8 of them in your fryer at once, and they come out one at a time. And then by the time the 8th one's out, you've added 8 more in, so you get rid of 8 customers at once. So it's got its good and bad points, but you want something that's easy to prepare. Blooming onion, you take the onion, you peel it. Now we had tubs and tubs and tubs of them peeled, and then we would cut them, bread them, and then throw them in the fryer. So a little bit of work there, but not bad. Certainly not as easy as a French fry where you take the potato, run it through the cutter, and throw it in the fryer. Much easier, but you don't want something that has 20 steps and 50 ingredients. So it's got to be easy to prepare. Okay, the third thing is, how well is it known? So I'm going to write up here, well known. Is it well known? You know, your auntie used to make Hoover Dabbers, and they were the best Hoover Dabbers ever. And anywhere you went to 4th of July picnics, birthday parties, you always brought the Hoover Dabbers. People requested them. They were great. So you put Hoover Dabbers on your menu. Guess what? You tank. The reason you tank is nobody knows what that is. Products that have come out recently, for instance, I always think of deep fried Twinkies and deep fried Oreos. Honest to God, when those came out, I thought, oh my God, that is the worst product ever. Boy, was I wrong on that one. Everybody can imagine a Twinkie or Oreo getting dunked in batter and put in the fryer. So people understand what it is. You don't have to have a giant explanation of them. And there's something that everybody likes. Everybody likes a Twinkie. Everybody likes an Oreo. So now you put batter on it and deep fry it. Oh my God, people are in sweet treat heaven. They absolutely love it. So personally, I have to say I've never had one, but that's a product that is well known. So you may have to put a spin on a well-known product to get yourself booked, but it can be done, and you don't want to have to educate the public because that could take years, and by then you'll probably be out of business. So keep that in mind. Okay, the fourth thing I'm going to put is how easy is it to stock and hold? So I'm going to put easy to stock and hold. For instance, going back to my onion business or French fries, anything like that, stock it. You see outside of trailers, usually a pallet on the outside, and it will have 50-pound bags of potatoes or 50-pound bags of onions stacked and stacked and stacked, usually covered with a tarp, and you don't need any refrigeration at all. Even ketchup doesn't need to be refrigerated, amazingly enough. So you want to think about how are you going to stock it, because if you're going to be at a fair for a week, you're going to need a lot of stock. And sometimes the bigger fairs have a company like Cisco leave a stock truck on the grounds, and that you order ahead of time for the week what you think you'll need, but you don't have to pick it up. They'll bring it to you every day, however much you need. So that's not too much of a problem. But if you're selling something like hamburgers, and you're going to sell 500 hamburgers on a busy day at 10 bucks a piece, $5,000, not too bad, selling a few other things with it. But how are you going to stock all that meat or all those burgers? You're going to have a very hard time with that. So you're maybe going to have a stock truck, and it's going to have refrigerators and freezers in it. So then that's another expense. So try to simplify what you're going to be selling so that it's easy to stock and easy to hold. Okay, so you've got freezers and is the stocking part, holding it is the refrigerators. If it's potatoes or onions, all you're doing is leaving it on a pallet outside. That's so easy. Okay, so you got 4 here, and the last one is the profit. And we talked a little bit about the profit, but you really need an item. You can't do the restaurant markup where you mark it up 3 times. It's just not enough, because you're having to make a lot of money in a much shorter window, because this is usually a seasonal business. Now, some people do they're in the north in the summer months, in the fall months, and then they head, as I said, to the south in the winter, and they run a route in the south too. I have other friends who travel all around the country. They go to all the big fairs, and that's a whole nother thing if you've got children in school, or I don't know, there's so much, but there's a ton of money to be made if you do something like that. So you want a really high profit item. Another item that comes to mind to me is corn on the cob. And these friends, I said it because these friends of mine actually do that. And they do baked potatoes, corn on the cob, and turkey legs. So those are interesting products. On the corn on the cob, again, what's it cost? 10 cents in a year with a little butter on it, 15 cents, and you sell it for $3. You got 20 times the markup there. Same with the baked potatoes. The turkey legs are a little trickier. I liken these to seafood as well. They're going to cost you quite a bit to buy. Maybe a turkey leg costs you $5 to buy, and they sell for $15 at the bigger fairs, at least. So you're not making that 10 times the profit. However, you think about the volume, and if you sell 500 turkey legs in a day, and you're making $10 a turkey leg, that's a lot of money on just that one item. So that's how these friends of mine are able to go around the country. You want to think about the profit, what it's going to cost you, and you got to count everything. Count that fork, count that ketchup, count that container. If you're selling something that has to go in a hinged container, those are like 30 or 40 cents now. A lot of states won't let you use styrofoam ones, they're paper ones, etc. So you really want to think about the profit. So those are the 5 most important things. Is it unique? Is it easy to prepare? Is it well known? Is it easy to stock and hold? And the most important one, in my opinion, because you're not out here for the fun of it, the joy of it. Hopefully you are getting joy, and you are having fun. However, you're really out here for the profit. So keep that in mind. When you come up with your product, think about the fair committee. Are they going to welcome you, or are they going to give you a thumbs down? So I hope this was helpful. I've given you, I have a free list of product ideas if you follow the link down below. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Have a great day. Thank you.